precedent and is not discussable. Clerk will read the roll on the matter.
Commissioner Leary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprinkle?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
No.
Commissioner McMacken?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes, it's been tabled, and I'm assuming the city manager will take this into consideration as it relates to the boards that we go to. Ms. Brown, I just want to be clear that an action from the P&Z Commission we can table,
Yes,
Commissioner.
absolutely, when you can. So,
and it doesn't require us to take action in a certain time, or it does?
no, it doesn't, because this is legislative, not quasi-judicial.
Perfect. Thank you
So
very
you're
much.
fine, you're fine.
Let me ask you a question. For people that had comments to make about this, public, how do I proceed now? What's gonna happen?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, we can always take comments. I'd like to get through our agenda. We, at this point, don't have anything to comment on, except to say that the motion's been tabled. So I certainly don't mind opening the floor
I
for
didn't know
public
it had come
comment.
up in the first place. Am I gonna know when it comes up again?
Mayor, I wouldn't.
Excuse me.
And then those are two issues. So, Mr. Woodall, if you don't mind sitting down and let us discuss how we're going to take comments.
I mean, actually,
You
on the
place us in an
agenda,
uncomfortable position, but I appreciate
we
being placed.
really only have the quiet zone issue
Yeah.
remaining on the agenda. I wouldn't mind spending a few minutes if citizens would come out to speak to this, to allow them
Sure.
to come up and
So I'm happy to entertain that. I mean,
entertain their comments.
sure, by all means, we can certainly do that. In the interest of the chair, we'll set a 15-minute timeframe for that and then re-examine that. So that gives 5 citizens the opportunity to speak at this time to us if there's more.
Did I hear that we can make comments?
Yes, there's no motion before us, so you can come speak about whether this is a good idea or not. We're opening the floor for public comment.
My name's Woody Woodall, and I live at 328 North Park Avenue. Up above the Christian Science Reading Room and Tugboat is the bird. For those of you that don't know, we have 7 retail spaces that we rent on the avenue. 4 of those are out on Park Avenue. 3 of them are back in the garden where it's fairly hard to rent. There's been this big concern about that big building that's not shown there anymore as to why that building is not renting. It's very difficult for me to be critical of that management, but they probably made more money last month than I'll make in my entire life. But if you look at that building, it is the ugliest building on Park Avenue. It is also one of the biggest. All of the other big property owners are shrinking their spaces. Larry Williams shrunk his spaces down to 800,000 square foot. The foundation shrinking their spaces down, Jacobson's down. All these guys, if they choose to not make that building look attractive and not subdivide it up so that it is palatable in size, then they'll never rent the doggone thing. I'm interested that City Hall is cutting off the traffic down there. I think Starbucks is not aware of that. They're busy all the time, and they're right across the street. We're going to have a new park here that's going to make it better. If you, it seems to me, the traffic, that problem has been cured. The Burger Chef has solved that problem. They do have a store in the big building, and so that's going to solve that problem. So that problem has been cured. If you want to know what these conditional resources or rezoning is going to do, it's very easy to just go over to Baldwin Park and you'll see exactly what's going to happen to that street. Number one, they have Class A buildings. We have a whole bunch of Class C buildings. They have thousands of walkable people that can walk to the avenue. They have lured away one of our best retailers and one of our biggest employers. What do they have? What don't they have? They don't have customers. You know why they don't have customers? Because who wants to walk down a street and look in a chiropractor's window? You know, when you put offices there, you are killing the street forever. They'll never be able to recover from that disaster that they have put upon them themselves. So the new rules are going to ruin that avenue, and you'll never be able to recover from it. My last point is, why did I have to find out about this by reading the newspaper? Why didn't we ask the merchants what they wanted to do? Why didn't we ask the merchants on south of Comstock what they wanted to do? We all talk about transparency and openness and all that stuff, and there hasn't been any. The thing is almost a secret. And I just accidentally read the paper and found out about it. It's going to be a disaster.
It has been properly noticed to the newspaper. Obviously, we can always do more.
Right.
I
Well-
mean, it was also properly noticed to our agenda.
All right, it's going to be a disaster if you put offices on that thing. It'll ruin that part of the street forever.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Others wishing to speak?